So this past April, we launched our virtual tastings program. And we always approach this as a trial and learn. We weren't sure like how long we'd be doing them for, and we just kind of thought we wanted to test it out. As we did research on seeing what was out there, we knew that we wanted to give customers an opportunity to pre-purchase the wine ahead of time so they could participate. We also wanted to include winemakers, distillers, chefs, and other luminaries, and have some sort of X factor so that we would stand out. Ultimately, we considered our tastings to be edutainment. So we wanted them to be educational, but also entertaining. So we started our trial at the end of April. We have done 23 tastings so far. All of them can be found on our wine.com YouTube channel if you want to see them. And I'll take you through some examples of what these tastings were so you have a feel for them. This image in the slide is our Biodynamic Duo Tasting that involved Michael Chapoutier and Gerard Bertrand. We also had Gerard Bertrand back on to do our tasting for Hampton Water with John Bon Jovi and his son Jesse. We had Saskia on, and we talked about her properties around the world and how she best manages her wine brands. We also had John Legend on with John Charles Boisset, where they presented their 2 rosés. And this tasting was really interesting to watch because John talked about how he learned about creating wine and how it compares to creating music. We've been doing some regional themed tastings. And so this is an image of our Washington State Winemaking Wizards tasting. We've done other regional tastings that have been with Italy, South America, and Oregon. And these are really fun because it's neat to see winemakers coming together in that region to talk about their own wines and have them tasted by one another in the audience. This was one of my favorite tastings we did. It was with Francis Ford Coppola and CEO and Chief Winemaker Corey Beck. And then we had a tasting for Father's Day with Rob Dina and Michael Mondavi. We've done a wine and cheese pairing with Silverado Vineyards and cheese expert Laura Werlin. And so we told consumers about the different wines they could get, but also cheeses that they could easily find locally to pair with them. And then we took them through a tasting with the wines and the cheeses. And then we also did a tasting with the Wagner family. We tasted Caymus and other wines from their portfolio. So far we've done 23 tastings. Most of these tastings, we do sell a tasting set. About 60% of people who register do buy the set. And we've sold over $1.2 million of wine through these sets. As far as viewing, we've had over 42,000 households view them in combination. And we say households because right now there are people sheltering in place together. And so there could be, as many as 1 up to maybe 4 or 5 people watching the tasting at the same time. And of our tastings we've done, 30% of them have involved a celebrity that was a celebrity outside the wine world before they started making wine. So what we found was interesting was that 70% of these tastings have been more of like a traditional tasting with a winery or a region, and then 30% have been with a celebrity who has started making wine. Of our registrations, 42% of them have been for these traditional tastings, and about 60% are for the ones involving a celebrity. However, when you look at the revenue from the tasting sets, it flips, and about 60% of the revenue is coming for these traditional tastings, which we feel is in line with wine.com's motto that we are seriously passionate about wine. And so are our consumers, and they are coming to enjoy these tastings that are about their favorite winery or a winery they want to learn about or a region. So I'm going to take you through some of the best practices that we've learned through these live stream tastings. One thing I should mention is that all of these tastings are free. We do allow consumers to buy the wine ahead of time, and we have tasting sets. We feel it's very important to allow people enough time to buy these sets and have them available. So we make sure we market these tastings several weeks beforehand. We also make sure all of our warehouses have inventory because we just think it makes for a better experience if these consumers can have the wine in hand. Also, we include a host, who's amazing. Her name's Gwendolyn Osborne. She's very comfortable on camera. We also try to feature talent who are comfortable on camera because we feel it makes for a more entertaining and better tasting experience. We organize camera tests with all of our talent. So if you look at these two images, they're screenshots, and I feel like they really represent having strong camera and strong backgrounds. So as you can see, all the lighting is good. Their backgrounds are great. We make sure that their camera or their computer, whatever they're using, is eye level. We also make sure that their Wi-Fi is strong because we wouldn't want to have a tasting where maybe it goes in and out and it wouldn't be an enjoyable experience. Also, you can see that like all of their heads and body positionings are around the same size. So we take time several days before our tasting to make sure everything is good to go. So when we start the tasting, it just looks great. We also work with the marketing and brand management teams to create a strong run of show. We feel it's very important to have a loose agenda before we do our tasting, so that way we're all on the same page and we really focus on what matters, and we keep these tastings to 30 to 45 minutes so we keep interest. We also ask consumers to submit questions when they register for the event. So when we do the run of show, we incorporate these questions into the script. We also provide tasting mats with notes so consumers can print these out and reference it while they're doing the tasting. We make it easy to purchase post-tasting. So the day of the tasting, we email everyone this tasting mat with the notes. And then the day after the tasting, we do send an email thanking them for coming and sending a link so they can easily purchase the tasting set afterwards. Lastly, all of our tastings can be viewed live and recorded on the wine.com YouTube channel. And we feel this is very important because if a consumer cannot attend the live tasting, they still can participate at a later time. Also, some of these tasting sets involve 3 bottles of wine, and if a consumer doesn't want to open all bottles for that tasting, they can open what they want, save the other ones, and then come back to watch the videos for the wines that they were saving. Also, because these live on YouTube, we're creating an on-demand virtual tasting experience. So weeks or months from now, if someone comes across our tasting, they can still watch it when they want to.